Welcome to Professor's Garage. The TPMS light is on this Honda Odyssey after 15 years.
Let's take a look with an OBD scan. And it shows signal failure from all 4 tire pressure sensors.
So we now know that the sensors inside the tires are dead. We all know that the tire pressure is critical for your safety on the road. So today we'll spend some time to make the light disappear by replacing the sensors inside.
I'll explain some common TPMS terms like activation, relearn, and programming, since they can be confusing. And I will show you 2 different types of sensors and how to program them the right way. There's a lot to unpack, so let's get started.
If you haven't seen my earlier videos on demounting and mounting a tire, check out the linked video first. You will need to break the outside tire bead, if not demounting the tire completely, to replace the TPMS sensor. I removed the tire here so I can demonstrate this replacement more clearly. Once the tire bead is pushed down or partially removed, you will see the valve stem area where the TPMS sensor is mounted. The sensor is usually held in place by a small nut on the valve stem, plus the valve itself sealing through the rim. Carefully remove the retaining nut from the valve stem on the outside of the rim. Push the stem gently back through the hole and lift the entire sensor body out from inside the wheel. Be careful not to scratch the inside of the rim. Some sensors may be corroded in place, so take your time. At this point, the old sensor is free, and you can compare it to the new one. Make sure you have the correct pre-programmed sensor for your vehicle. Check the condition of the rubber grommet, washer, and nut. These should be new and come with the replacement sensor kit. Clean the inside and outside, especially the inside seating surface around the hole. Also lightly lubricate the grommet with a little tire lube to help it seat and seal. Some sensors are pre-assembled with the stem and sensor in one piece. Others may need assembly. Just screw them together. Insert the valve stem of the new sensor through the rim hole from the inside. Hold the sensor body flat against the rim so it sits properly. Thread on the retaining nut from the outside and torque it to spec, usually around 35 to 80 inch-pounds, or simply lighter than finger tight. Do not over-tighten. You can damage the grommet or the sensor. The O-ring or grommet will seal it with just a little bit of torque. At this point, it's a good idea to check the sensor and make sure they can respond to activation. Unlike TPMS in the past, today's sensors can usually respond to activation without tire pressure, so check it now before it's too late. You don't want to repeat this process again if it turns out to be a defective unit. Once the sensor is secure and tested, you can continue with the tire mounting process. Reseat the bead, inflate the tire to spec, and balance the wheel if needed. You can follow the video linked at the top right corner here, or one of those listed in the video description, on how to mount your tire and balance it properly. And that's it. The old TPMS sensor is out, the new one is in, and your wheel is ready to go back on the vehicle. Repeat this on the other tires. If one goes out due to age, it's likely others will do too, so replace them all. Now we'll move on to the activation and relearn process so the car recognizes the new sensors. Before we get into TPMS sensor activation and relearn, let's clear up the terminology. I will also give you some tips on which sensors to purchase and how to get them working on your vehicle. This is a sensor pre-programmed for Honda, specifically for this Odyssey. Check or activation on this interface. Think of this as waking up someone from sleep so they can start talking. Through activation, you wake up the sensor and it begins transmitting data. Programming. Imagine hiring a new employee. First, you give them a social security number or employee number as an identifier, and then you make sure they can speak the same language as the team, right? They should be able to speak to the team, to the vehicle. That is the protocol. Assigning the ID, coding the sensor with the correct protocol is what we refer to as programming. That way, you can officially join the team and communicate properly with the car system. Now, relearn. This is like introducing someone new to the group. The car's computer needs to learn the sensor's ID so it knows who's who, how to keep track of them.
I'll show you how to work with two types of sensors today: pre-programmed sensors and programmable or universal sensors. They are different, but can be great depending on what you need.
In most cases, if you purchase sensors specifically pre-programmed for your vehicle, these are pre-programmed for some Honda models like Element, Odyssey, and so forth, you only need to activate and relearn the sensors. No need for full programming because they have been pre-programmed for your vehicle. They know the language, they know the protocol, and they have already an ID. So these are pre-programmed sensors on this Honda. And I'm going to show you on the screen other examples such as pre-programmed sensors for Toyota and Lexus. So take a look. Another scenario is when you swap to winter tires like I do. I use Michelin X-Ice in the winter, which make a huge difference in grip on snow and wet roads. And when you switch wheels, the vehicle needs to relearn the sensors on that set of tires. Today I'm using the XTool TP50 TPMS tool, which is currently about $127. I will reach out to XTool to see if they can offer a discount code for viewers of this channel. But just to be clear, I have no affiliation with them and wasn't even asked to promote this product on the channel. I just like showing good tools that work in real jobs and bring good value to our viewers. I'll post a link below in the video description and hopefully with the discount code as well. We get a small cut from your purchase and I really appreciate it. Now, let's walk through the process on the Honda.
In this part of the video, I'm working with these sensors that have been pre-programmed specifically for Honda vehicles, including my 2010 Odyssey, with the correct frequency, protocol, and each has been assigned an ID.
It's 2010 Odyssey, so select 28 to 2010. Okay, so first we are going to check, which is to activate the sensors. Okay, it starts with the driver's side front.
Front left, hit the signal button to activate each sensor. Front right, rear right, and finally rear left. Now every sensor is activated.
Yes.
And we are ready to introduce them to the car.
Turn on the ignition and connect the device through the OBD2. Connect the TPMS tool to the OBD port on the vehicle, and the other side of the cable connects to the tool. Turn on the ignition, but not starting the vehicle. And let's do relearn. Press OK. It's communicating based on what we have activated and the IDs that the tool picked up from the sensors. OBD Relearn success, which is great. As you can see, the TPMS light is gone. The low pressure is on and flashing. That means we have very low pressure on one of those tires. And what you need to do is pump up the tires to spec and have a test drive, and you should be all good. After the activation and relearn, there's no PTC anymore, which is great.
There is another way to handle sensor replacements. Instead of activation and relearning, you can copy the IDs from your old sensors into the new ones. That way the vehicle recognizes them immediately because the IDs are the same. This approach is especially convenient if you have two sets of tires for the same vehicle, like for the summer and for the winter. If your summer tire IDs are already registered on the vehicle, for example, you can then copy those IDs into the winter tires, so when you swap tires, there's no need to relearn. This saves time, but only works if you have the old IDs available. In this part of the video, we'll be using XTool's TS100 TPMS sensors, and they have yet to be programmed by TP150 for GM, Ford, Toyota, and all cars. And as I will show you shortly, they have dual frequencies and can be programmed to work with this Honda Odyssey too. There are multiple ways to copy IDs, and I prefer copy by OBD because we have registered those IDs on the vehicle already. Connect the TP150 tool again to the OBD2 port and proceed to copy by OBD. And voila, it found all sensor IDs on the screen. And now we can disconnect the TPMS tool and visit each wheel to copy each of these IDs to the sensor. Again, start with the front driver's side. Select the ID to be copied. Put the tool on the tire next to the valve stem and hit the signal button. It takes some time and done. Now, front passenger side. Good. Rear right. Good. Rear left. Great, and we are all done.
We are going to have a test drive. Hopefully that will clear the low tire pressure light.
1 minute into the test drive, the low tire pressure light went off, and the dash is all clear. How amazing is that? But more importantly, we know the sensors are working to monitor tire pressures to keep the ride safe.
TPMS isn't just about turning off the warning light. It's about safety. Low tire pressure affects handling, braking, and fuel economy, but most important, tire wear and your road safety. On the other hand, you should not just rely on the TPMS sensors alone. Check your tire pressures at least once a month. Keep a small inflation pump in your vehicle, like this or this with a gauge. It can save you from getting stranded. New TPMS sensors activated and relearned on the Honda. And the process can be done likewise on other makes and models. If you found this helpful, give it a like and consider subscribing to Professor's Garage for more practical DIY guides. If a professor can do it, you can do it. Until next time, may the Lord bless you and give you peace. 平安。